Our world is falling apart. We have become further divided every passing day, divided by our words. We, as a society, have forgotten how to hold a conversation. Now, what I mean by this is that people today are unable to discuss uncomfortable topics without getting frustrated. People today are so worried about getting to these so-called arguments that they're unable to discuss uncomfortable topics. Topics like guns, politics, immigration, housing. They all tend to elicit strong feelings. And as a result, we shy away from discussing those topics because they end in anger or just general frustration with one another. In fact, a study conducted by the University of Nebraska-Lincoln has found that 1 in 5 Americans has had a relationship damaged by a political argument. But it doesn't have to be like this. It shouldn't have to be like this. Rather, we need to engage in these difficult conversations so we can gain a deeper understanding for each other. By learning other perspectives, we can grow together and find a deeper meaning. And maybe, just maybe, find some answers in the meantime. Now, your first question may be, well, how did this issue come to be in the first place? And why has it gotten so bad? And we can't point it down to just one reason, but rather a combination of a few. One being the fact that politics has gotten so much more polarizing in recent decades, with just 2 political parties representing over 320 million Americans. And on top of that, we have the dangers of social media at work, which just shows us the content we wish to see. In combination, these factors have resulted in a polarized world that has been pushed to 2 extremes. What we need to do is start coming back towards that middle ground and finding ways to compromise and talk once again. See, when we are forced to stick up for our beliefs and opinions in active conversation, it forces us to think critically about them and whether they were formed by ourselves or by others. From a young age, we are injected with the opinions of our family, our friends, our parents, the news. They're all trying to get us to think a certain way. As a result, we hang out with friends that have the same beliefs as us, watch news from people we agree with, and follow social media creators that have the same interests as us. In today's world, it's so easy to squish ourselves inside one of these echo chambers that it blinds us from seeing the world with a clear eye. Now I'd like each and every one of you to think back to your time in kindergarten, where you would run out screaming and cheering onto the playground 3 times a day. Now, there would always be arguments happening over who was going to get to use which toy, or who was going to get to use the swings first, or maybe who was going to be it for tag. Now, despite all these arguments, everyone always came in from recess with fresh slates and calm minds, just ready to learn, almost as if that arguments had never happened in the first place. Somehow along the way, though, we have lost that mindset. Now, your next question may be, well, how can we work to end this problem? Well, if we take the time to listen to other people's arguments and opinions, we can begin to find more common ground. See, it's fine to hold our beliefs and opinions, but we have to learn to effectively defend them without getting flustered. This all starts with having a more open mindset. When reading books or watching movies, we must think critically about what we are seeing and think about multiple viewpoints, not just the one that we want to have or the one that is the simplest. In conversations as well, we must be willing to take the time to hear people out to gain that deeper understanding. This all starts by taking steps to actively listen and process what others are trying to say, instead of immediately trying to think of a rebuttal. In our conversations, we shouldn't go in with the goal of trying to convince someone of something, or even to try to win. That's because there is no winning in conversations. The goal should be to become smarter, more educated, and more knowledgeable. We win when we can come away peacefully with new ideas and new perspectives. Thank you.